May 2025. Remember that month. Because that's when things went from bad to absolutely terrifying in Ukraine. Russia, it seems, decided to break its own horrible records. We're talking about drone attacks on a scale we haven't seen before. Imagine looking up and seeing the sky filled, not with stars but with machines of war, hundreds of them. Dark, buzzing, deadly. This isn't some far-off video game scenario. This became the horrifying reality for Ukrainians. It's a relentless, overwhelming assault from above, day after day, night after night. Just to give you an idea of the sheer numbers here, because numbers sometimes tell a story words can't fully capture. Overnight into today, May 26th, Russia unleashed a staggering 355 drones, 355 in one night. And that wasn't even an isolated incident, oh no. That came right after a night where 298 drones and 69 missiles rained down. If you're keeping count, from Friday, May 24th through this past Sunday, we're looking at approximately 900 drones launched. 900. It's an aerial bombardment of almost unimaginable intensity, designed to break spirits and systems. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky put it bluntly. He said these attacks show Moscow is acting with impunity. And when you see these numbers, when you hear about attack after attack, you start to understand what he means. It's like Russia is testing the limits, pushing to see what they can get away with, how much destruction they can cause. 3 times in May alone they've broken their own record for these kinds of aerial bombardments. Each time the terror escalates, the fear deepens, and the world watches, wondering when or if it will ever stop. This isn't just a random escalation, it feels calculated. It feels like a deliberate strategy to overwhelm Ukraine's defenses, to sow panic among the civilian population, and to send a chilling message to the world. The sheer volume of these attacks is difficult to comprehend. Each one of those drones represents a potential explosion, a potential life lost, a potential home destroyed. The sky, once a symbol of openness and freedom, has been weaponized in the most brutal fashion, a constant source of anxiety and dread for millions. So what happens when hundreds of drones descend? It's not pretty, it's devastation. On May 24th alone, these strikes on multiple Ukrainian cities led to over 150 civilians being reported dead. 150 lives, gone. Just like that. Think about that number. These aren't just statistics, these are people. People with families, with dreams, with futures that were stolen from them in an instant. The reports are heartbreaking, painting a grim picture of the human cost of this relentless aerial assault. The stories are specific and gut-wrenching. In Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region, 2 elderly women were killed by these drone strikes. Imagine living through so much, only to have your life ended this way. In the Sumy region, also in the northeast, Russian cluster munitions, a particularly nasty type of weapon, hit a home. A woman was simply tending her garden, a moment of peace shattered, her life extinguished. Another person was injured there too. These are innocent civilians, targeted in their homes, in their daily lives, by an unseen enemy hovering above them. And it's not just lives lost, it's the very fabric of society being torn apart. The strikes on May 24th destroyed key infrastructure. We're talking about hospitals, places of healing turned into targets, schools where children should be learning and playing, reduced to rubble. In Kyiv, after a drone strike on May 25th, residents were seen inspecting what was left of their damaged apartment building. Their homes, their security, their sense of normalcy, all violated, all damaged, all under threat from the skies above. The psychological toll is immense. How do you sleep when you know a drone could strike at any moment? How do you send your children to school? How do you go about your daily life with that constant threat humming overhead? This is the reality for so many Ukrainians right now. It's a state of siege, not just of cities, but of minds. The fear is a weapon too, and it's being deployed with brutal efficiency alongside the explosives, leaving scars that will take generations to heal. Amidst this horror, Ukraine is fighting back. Their air defenses are working overtime, a constant battle against the incoming swarms. Yuri Inat, who heads the Ukrainian Air Force's communications department, confirmed the sheer scale of these recent attacks. He acknowledged that while they managed to down most of the drones, a testament to their skill and bravery, some inevitably penetrate the defenses. And those that get through, they cause casualties, they cause destruction. It's a desperate, high-stakes game of aerial cat and mouse played out over populated cities. President Zelensky has been vocal as you'd expect. He condemned the attacks, stating they are politically motivated, not militarily logical. He emphasized Russia's sense of impunity, that feeling that they can do this without facing real consequences. It's a cry for help, a plea for the world to see what's happening and to do more. His words resonate with the frustration and anguish of a nation under constant bombardment, a nation fighting for its very survival against a much larger aggressor, and the world reacting, though some might say not strongly or quickly enough. The United States and the European Union condemned the May 24th attacks. Kaja Kallas, the EU's top diplomat, didn't mince words, calling the attacks totally appalling. She also indicated plans for more sanctions on Moscow, trying to hit them where it hurts, their economy. Even former US President Donald Trump, a figure not always aligned with traditional foreign policy stances, chimed in, calling Vladimir Putin absolutely crazy over the scale of these air attacks, saying they are needlessly killing a lot of people. President Joe Biden has called for an emergency meeting of NATO, following the devastating strikes on May 24th. This signals the seriousness with which these escalations are being viewed at the highest levels of international power. The diplomatic wheels are turning, condemnations are being issued, and discussions about further action are underway. But for the people on the ground in Ukraine, huddled in shelters or sifting through debris, these international responses can feel distant, while the threat from above is terrifyingly immediate and ever-present. This conflict has truly become a testing ground for sophisticated drone warfare. It's chilling. Russia is using Iranian-made Shahed drones, and they're also manufacturing their own versions. These aren't just simple remote-controlled toys, these are weapons of war, capable of carrying significant payloads and causing immense damage. On the other side, Ukraine has been innovative, developing its own long-range drones to strike back, sometimes deep inside Russian territory. It's a deadly technological race with devastating human consequences playing out daily. The international response is evolving too. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz recently announced something significant. Ukraine's key Western allies are no longer limiting the range of weapons they supply. This is a big deal. It means Ukraine could potentially strike targets further inside Russia. Predictably, the Kremlin described this move as dangerous. It's an escalation for sure, a sign that the West is willing to take more risks to support Ukraine. But more risk also means the potential for wider conflict, a terrifying prospect for everyone involved. The Ukrainian government declared a state of emergency after the May 24th strikes. This isn't surprising. When your cities are being pummeled from the sky, when hospitals and schools are hit, and when thousands are displaced, it's a crisis of massive proportions. It exacerbates an already dire humanitarian situation. People are losing their homes, their livelihoods, their loved ones. The sheer scale of these recent attacks has pushed an already strained system to its breaking point, with global implications, even causing a surge in oil prices. What we're seeing is a grim picture of modern warfare. It's increasingly remote, increasingly automated, but the suffering it causes is all too real, all too human. These drone strikes, this sense of impunity that President Zelensky spoke of, highlight a dangerous new chapter. The calls for a ceasefire, like the one Kiev accepted in March which Moscow rejected, seem like a distant dream as Russia reportedly prepares for a summer offensive. The world watches, hoping for de-escalation, but bracing for what might come next in this brutal, unrelenting siege from the skies.